sure you fully appreciate, ceremonies like this are essential to our Canadian communities. They're essential because they allow us to pass the wisdom and the sacrifices of each generation on to those who follow. The collective memory of a society can be a fragile thing, and certain aspects of history can be lost over time. And so we must be vigilant as Canadians to ensure that our history is preserved and passed down. We must remember places like Incheon, Kapyong, and Chalai. We must continue to honor the 30,000 Canadians who served in Korea, 1,500 who were wounded, and the 516 heroes who fell in service of Crown and country. The valor of our Canadian heroes in Korea cannot be understated, and we owe it to all Korea War veterans to remember that their stories and sacrifices can live on in the hearts and minds of generations.
Well, we're here today celebrating the 60th anniversary of the end of hostilities in Korea in 1953, and we're here to honor the Korea vets who are with us today and to remember the 26,000 that served and the 516 who gave their lives in the cause of freedom at that time.
The 60th anniversary of the Korean War certainly is a milestone, and very much appreciated that the recognition is finally coming to this particular group. It's been a long time, and we know the Korean community for us here in Edmonton has been a great contributor to our multiculturalism.
Korea was one of those milestone events in Canada's military history, in the history of the country, that brought Canadians together to support the cause of freedom somewhere around the world. You know, we've been very lucky in Canada. It hasn't come to our shores, but Canadians have left our shores to go to other places, World War I, the Boer War, World War II, Korea, peacekeeping, Afghanistan, countless places where Canadians have stood up for the cause of freedom, have stood up for the values that we as Canadians sometimes take for granted. And it's really important that Canadians understand that we have citizens who are courageous enough, committed enough, and brave enough to go and do those things that keeps those conflicts away from Canada and makes Canada such a great place to live.
It's wonderful to see the turnout of the Korean Veterans Association. You've got to think about their age, 60th anniversary, and say they were 20. Most of them are in their 20s, if not all of them. It's wonderful to see and to honor the memory of those that served in the somewhat facetiously called the Forgotten War. It's not forgotten, heaven forbid, and it certainly wasn't a police action, it was a war. We must remember them. They are the ones that put the line on the line. When they sign the dotted line, they have unlimited liability. In other words, they are there, and if necessary, they will kill or be killed for the sake of peace. And it's important that our Canadian public, particularly our youth, recognize this and acknowledge it. Hard to say to some people that believe that a war is passé. It's not passé. Unfortunately, this is the venue that we live in. As the Lieutenant Governor, it's only appropriate that as the Queen's representative, I participate in these ceremonies. And I do it with great gratitude, and I will go out of my way to make sure that I'm there. I served just about 40 years in the military, and I've been to quite a few places in the world. I did not serve in Korea, mind you, but many others, and it's only appropriate once you've worn the uniform that you acknowledge those that have served and that are continuing to serve. So there's very few ceremonies that we will have that I will not be at.
Canada, our home and native land, through pain to love in all thy Son's command.
We cannot forget Canadian military operation, because the Canadian military didn't help us, we cannot survive. You died for us, for our freedom and our democracy. Thank you. Thank you again.
I think it's great. After 60 years, we're finally being recognized, and it's great. Letter of appreciation from the United States, a letter of appreciation from my country.
Well, you know, so many of them can no longer get out and about, and those of us who are still here, we try and keep them all together. We meet once a month, and we have lunch and chew the fat, tell stories, okay, long or short or otherwise. So it's a good time.
You know, being a Korean veteran, it's not being a member of a committee or a party or a club. It's a brotherhood of soldiers, a brotherhood of brothers. And you know that you're never going to be alone, because you always know you have a buddy at your back or by your side. And this holds true to this day. And I went through a lot, I admit it. And I've been scared, and I've been hurt. And, you know, as ridiculous as it might sound, there's nothing in my life as a young soldier that I've done that I wouldn't hesitate to do again. But there is a truly bond between soldiers. I don't care. There might be a bond between police officers, but the bond between soldiers is something that will never be broken. Once you have a friend, you know he'll be there for you. In fact, in some cases, they'll give up their life for you.